Ezinne Okafor didn't hate Christmas. Not really. She just no longer knew what to do with it. The glittering lights strung across Lagos streets felt more like reminders than decorations, reminders of what she used to hope for, what she had once believed in. 2 years ago on this very week she had caught her fiancé with someone else, someone he claimed was just a friend. Since then, Christmas had lost its magic. It became a season she observed, not celebrated. This year she planned to stay tucked away in her Lekki apartment. Her work as a sought-after interior designer kept her booked until mid-December, and she had every intention of filling the rest of the holiday with movies, peppermint tea, and the company of no one. But fate, dressed in irony and wrapped with tinsel, had other plans. Ezinne had just wrapped up a luxury home project in Ikoyi when her business partner, Amaka, called. "Please, Zinni. Just one more job before the year ends. A small exhibition in Victoria Island. It's cultural. Festive. You'll love it." "I doubt that," Ezinne replied, balancing a design sketch in one hand and a steaming mug in the other. "It's not about you loving it," Amaka teased. "It's about paying the rent for our studio." So Ezinne agreed reluctantly. She arrived at the venue a few days later, a minimalist gallery nestled on a quiet street. Christmas decor was already underway, but it lacked elegance. It screamed chaos in red and green. She made mental notes, already reimagining the space. Then she saw him. A man, crouched beside a tripod, adjusting the lens of a camera with the gentle focus of someone in love, with light, with lines, with the moment. He looked up. Their eyes met. Adrian Cole offered a nod and a small, disarming smile. "You must be the one here to save the gallery from its tragic taste in ribbons." Ezinne raised a brow. "You must be the one who left glitter on the floor." He laughed. She didn't. But something shifted. For the first time in 2 Christmases, Ezinne's heart stirred, not in pain but in curiosity. The next few days unfolded like a quiet ballet, measured steps, polite exchanges, stolen glances. Ezinne kept to her work. She redesigned the gallery's entrance with white poinsettias, gold garlands, and minimalistic wreaths. No blinking lights. No plastic Santas. Just elegance and quiet cheer. Adrian, meanwhile, spent his hours setting up framed portraits of Christmases from across West Africa. Children laughing in marketplaces, elders in traditional wear, hands passing down heirlooms beside crackling fires. Their orbits overlapped again one rainy evening. A sudden power outage halted all progress. The lights flickered, then died. Outside, the sound of rain whispered against the gallery roof. Most staff had already left. Ezinne stood near the window, phone flashlight in hand, muttering about unreliable generators. Adrian emerged from the storage room, holding a few stubby candles in one hand and a lighter in the other. "I come bearing light," he said. Ezinne smirked. How biblical. They lit the candles together, the soft glow dancing on the newly painted walls. The gallery transformed into something intimate, sacred almost. They sat side by side on the edge of the platform where the main installation would soon be mounted. Adrian broke the silence first. "You know, Christmas used to be my favorite time of year." Ezinne raised a brow. "Used to?" He nodded. "I lost someone. My brother. 5 years ago. Christmas hasn't quite felt the same since." She didn't respond at once. Her eyes softened, flickering like the candlelight between them. "I lost someone too. But not to death, just to who he really was." Adrian didn't press. He just sat there, his presence calm, undemanding. In the warm amber glow, their shadows leaned into each other on the wall. "Sometimes," he said gently, "we bury joy with the people or things we lose. But joy doesn't always stay buried. It's stubborn that way." Ezinne looked at him fully for the first time. Really looked. There was no rush in his gaze. No demand. Just something kind and human. Something her heart, despite its scars, recognized. And though she wouldn't admit it, she didn't want the lights to come back on just yet. By the week of the exhibition, the gallery was transformed into a quiet marvel, gold and ivory tones, traditional ornaments repurposed with modern grace, and soft, evocative lighting that made each photo on the wall feel like a memory being remembered. Adrian had worked closely with Ezinne, far more than either of them had expected. Their collaboration had turned into camaraderie and camaraderie into something warmer. Ezinne still held back. She laughed more easily now, nodded at Adrian's jokes, and even brought him roasted plantain from a vendor she liked. But her eyes still searched for a way out, a door to retreat through, just in case. Adrian didn't push. On the night of the opening, guests flowed through the gallery in stylish Ankara and crisp lace. Christmas jazz played softly in the background. The scent of cinnamon and palm wine filled the air. Adrian stood at the entrance, fiddling with a camera strap when Ezinne walked in wearing a simple emerald dress that clung just enough to turn heads. She hadn't dressed for attention, but she caught his. "You clean up well," she said, glancing at his well-fitted navy shirt and subtle cologne. "And you look like a walking Christmas miracle," he replied, only half teasing. Just above them, hanging discreetly from the entry arch, was a single sprig of mistletoe. Ezinne noticed it first, then Adrian. "Gallery policy," he said, gesturing upward. "Tradition, you know." Ezinne raised a brow, arms folded. "Convenient policy." He stepped beneath it, grinning. "Rules are rules." She hesitated. Her heart warred with her mind, old wounds whispering caution, but something about Adrian, his quiet patience, his respect, disarmed her. She stepped forward, stood on tiptoe and pressed a kiss to his cheek. "That's all you get," she said, her lips curving into a smile. Adrian touched his cheek, pretending to look disappointed. "I'll take it." For the rest of the night, they didn't drift far from each other. And beneath that mistletoe moon hanging quietly from the arch, something old began to thaw, and something new began to bloom. 2 days before Christmas, Lagos gave them one of its sudden downpours. The kind that darkened the skies without warning, sending umbrellas blooming across the streets like startled flowers. Ezinne and Adrian had slipped away from the gallery after a long day of final preparations. They strolled through a bustling Christmas market in Victoria Island, stalls alive with laughter, roasted corn crackling on open flames, and carols weaving with the scent of suya. Then the heavens opened. Vendors scrambled to cover their goods while customers dashed for cover. Adrian grabbed Ezinne's hand, not forcefully, just instinctively, and guided her beneath the tiny wooden shed of a jewelry vendor. The air was thick with the smell of rain, smoke and spices. "You always bring storms," Ezinne teased, shaking water from her curls. "And you always look like you belong in them," Adrian replied, handing her his jacket. His voice carried that soft, steady cadence she was beginning to find dangerous. Dangerous because it made her want to trust it. They sat side by side on wooden crates, sharing roasted corn wrapped in newspaper. The rain clattered against the tin roof, muting the city into a private cocoon. For a while they were silent. Then Ezinne spoke. "My last Christmas with him, I thought it was perfect. I thought I had finally found someone who saw me. But he was seeing someone else too." Her laugh was bitter. "Now I can't look at fairy lights without feeling foolish." Adrian's expression softened, but he didn't interrupt. She continued, voice quieter now. "So I learned to decorate rooms, not hearts. Walls don't betray you. People do." The words hung heavy between them. Adrian set down the cob of corn, his gaze steady on her. "Do you know what I see when I look at you?" "What?" she asked, almost defensively. "A woman who still shows up. Who still creates beauty, even when she's carrying ashes inside." He leaned closer, not to crowd her, but to be sure she heard him over the rain. "That takes strength, Ezinne. More than you give yourself credit for." Her chest tightened. She wanted to look away, to deflect, but she couldn't. The rain had built a fortress around them, and within it she felt strangely safe. For the first time in years she didn't just feel seen, she felt understood. Christmas morning in Lagos was always alive. Church bells ringing, neighbors exchanging food in takeaway coolers, children running in new clothes, and carols floating through the dusty harmattan air. But inside Ezinne's apartment the world was still. She stood by her small artificial tree, staring at a wrapped package Adrian had insisted she accept the night before. She had thought of returning it, worried about what opening it might mean, but curiosity won. With careful hands she unwrapped the brown paper. Inside was a simple wooden frame. Within it a photograph of her. She was caught mid-laugh, head tilted back, eyes alight, while she arranged ornaments in the gallery. She hadn't known Adrian was watching, hadn't realized that in that moment she looked free. On the back of the frame in his neat handwriting were 4 words. "This is how I see you." Her throat tightened. Tears slipped unbidden down her cheeks. A knock came at the door. She didn't need to ask who it was. She opened it to find Adrian, holding 2 steaming cups of hot chocolate, his smile uncertain but hopeful. "Merry Christmas," he said. Her voice wavered. "Why would you give me that picture?" He shifted the cups to one hand and gently answered, "Because you deserve to remember yourself that way. Not broken. Not guarded. Just you." Something in her walls cracked. She let out a shaky laugh. "Adrian, I don't know if I can." "You don't have to promise forever," he interrupted softly. "Just promise today. One step. One chance." The silence between them pulsed like a heartbeat. Then Ezinne stepped forward, set the cups aside and wrapped her arms around him. Her cheek pressed to his chest, she whispered, "Then today, I'll try." He held her close, as if afraid she might change her mind. But when she tilted her face upward, their lips met, not with the hesitation of the mistletoe kiss, nor the guarded pause of rain-soaked confessions, but with the quiet certainty of two people brave enough to believe again. Down on the street, a child's laughter rose like a bell. Somewhere nearby, a carol began again for the 100th time. And in Ezinne's heart, Christmas finally returned, not as a season but as a beginning,